Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Welcome back as we continue to showcase those that were inducted into the Bayou Region Hall of Fame. The next one, very dear to me, started off in the punt, pass, and kick with this gentleman many years ago, and I've always said it, so happy he was a year older. He wreaked havoc on the punt, pass, and kick field. He was such a great athlete. Let's go to the induction ceremony of Skippy Ezell.
The next video you will see is of our next inductee, Mr. Skippy Ezell.
I grew up at off of Grand Canyon Road near Honduras School. We call it, they have a little nickname, they call it the Doug Road. It was a very good neighborhood. We had a lot of kids my age. We used to sit around Lionel Wallace's house. We used to watch football, you know, and we used to watch the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs, and we used to go out there and mimic those guys outside the house, you know, like I'm Otis Taylor, I'm Staubach, I'm Bob Hayes, you know, and that was a big thing for us as a little kid, you know. Played with the Tigers when I was maybe 9 years old, and we practiced at Honduras School. Dana Petrie was the head coach. He was the first coach to let me play quarterback at 9 years old. That happened when I was at Mechanicsville in 7th grade. One of the teachers told me about entering the punt, pass, and kick. And Lionel Wallace and I, we used to work. We used to clean office buildings. And I went to work that Saturday, the day of the competition. And he asked my mom and dad, where was I? Because he was gonna come pick me up and bring me because, you know, my father had to work. He was working with the post office at the time. He came pick me up from off of Barrow Street. We was working at an insurance company. You know, I was doing the garbage cans and Lionel was doing the mopping. And I went over there and did what I had to do, throw the ball, punt the ball, kick the ball. And I left, and I told him to bring me back because I wanted to stay on, the, you know, making my money. And he came back and told me I won. I went to Southdown the first competition, and from there we went to Lafayette. I went to Lafayette twice and won. Then the next one I went to New Orleans, you know, and I was at Tulane Stadium, and that's where I took off. I used to work Frank Lewis out when I was a kid. He was playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I used to throw to him during the summertime on his days off, his season, before he go back, off season, you would say. And I threw to him again when he was with Buffalo. He always did tell me, don't take nothing off the ball. There's gonna be somebody gonna catch it for you. Pretty much you get the butterflies coming from 7th grade to Oak Lawn. Oak Lawn had a powerhouse, and they had some good guys over there, good athletes. I played 8th grade football, quarterback, and we went undefeated in 8th grade. And during the 8th grade year, I was starting quarterback 9th grade. We went undefeated again. Played under 2 undefeated age groups. Coach Marcello was following what I was doing, and he kept saying, and I think this guy can do this, you know, move up to play varsity football at South Terrebonne, being in the 9th grade. I talked to my mom, my dad, I was included, and my dad looked at me, my mom, they said, it's up to him. I was nervous, but I had to perform because, you know, Coach Marcello took a chance on bringing me in there. I wasn't gonna let him down. Took the good with the bad. I made some mistakes, but I did good. by going, and my confidence level was pretty high, knowing I was going to be the first one to do that. So it was a lot of pressure, but I made it happen. They didn't take it easy on me, you know, because a lot of people knew me from playing in an Oaklawn, so they was moving up as well. Lionel lived maybe about 5 houses from me, and we grew up together and we did everything together. So that was a good confidence boost there, but I knew I could depend on him. Well, now, you know Coach Taylor was the head coach in track. They look at the numbers, you know, wherever they can get the points, and I had the ability to do certain things, so they put me where they needed me. So, and then I fell in love with the hurdles when they say, man, I'm gonna show you how to run the hurdles, and, you know, just get out the blocks and get your momentum going and just cross them, you know. I was so high a couple times, but then he brought me down lower and lower, so I started getting my timing down, and that's when I started making a name for myself in the hurdles. We had to go to South Lafourche. It was their homecoming. That was a nail biter. That was my senior year, and it was Bobby Hebert. They was winning 14-7, and we came back and tied the game up. Bobby go back down again. They scored a touchdown, 20 points. We had 14. They missed the extra point. And I had about 2 minutes left in the game. Man, I can't let Bobby beat me, you know. My senior year, I never won. Never beat South Lafourche out of the years I played. And Kenny Wallace came up with a touchdown. It was 20-20. And I kicked the extra point to win the game, 21-20. The letters was coming, and Coach Marcello did all the weeding out. You know, he would get the letters, and he would call me before practice, and he'll sit down, we open the letters up, and he'll look at it, and he'll give it to me. We discuss it, and we just start shuffling it around, moving it around till my senior year. I had LSU on my radar. Tulane was on the radar, but then the type of a quarterback I was, so you would have to think about Oklahoma, you know, with the wishbone, Nebraskas and stuff like that, you know. I was kind of looking at that as well. Ohio State was in the running, USC. I mean, it was a lot of teams that I was looking at, but I had to make sure I make a decision on what was my fit. He came to my house on Leona Street. We sat around the kitchen table, my whole family did. He said, we've been watching Skippy since he was a sophomore. We would like for him to come to Grambling, but I can't offer him nothing but a scholarship. But what I could tell you, he's gonna graduate, he's gonna go to church, and he will get his diploma. And he needed a quarterback because Doug Williams had just left to go to Tampa Bay. When he left, you know, we started talking more about, you know, where I should go, you know, and what I should do. And I made the decision to go to Grambling because of that situation. Because at that time, you know, Doug Williams had set the standards. He set that bar high, being the first black quarterback to get drafted in the first round ever. We loaded the car up to go to Grambling. And when I got there, took all the luggage out of the car, put it in the room. And when my dad said bye, cold, man. When he got off of the campus, it seemed like I was running behind him. Hey man, wait for me, you know. It was a big transition right there. But a couple of guys that knew of me, they put me under their wings. That really helped me out. It eased my pain. All those guys that was at Grambling during my time, they was pretty much all Americans as well. Because during that time, you know, the black kids was going to schools like that. Gary Gordon, Tremaine Johnson, you had Everson Walls, you had Albert Lewis, you had Benny Thomas, Robert Griffin, played with Kansas City. Grambling was like family. You know, there's nothing there during the time my wife and I was there. You had to do your own thing. It was basically studying, playing ball, doing whatever your craft was.
I was a freshman at Grambling, and I'm from Ohio. So when I was in Ohio, they recruited probably 10 of us, 10 to 12 females to come to Grambling to run track. One of his friends, Taylor Haynes, came up to me and said, hey, there's somebody that, wants to say hey or wants to meet you. So I was like, no. So, as a freshman, we were always told, not to talk to the football players and stuff like that. So I kind of put them off for a little while. And then didn't really know he was a football player starting, all that type stuff. Because I was, into my things with the Ohio girls. And he came up to me one day and said, hey, would you like to eat in the cafeteria together?
I was doing that Michael Vick stuff back then. I was a running quarterback. They run now. So, Coach Rob always told me when I was at Grambling, son, you was born too soon because of my ability to run and throw. Playing for Eddie Robertson, man, that really opened up a lot of doors for me. He was a teacher. He taught me a lot. I learned a lot. Things that I probably wouldn't learn nowhere else. Going to that HBCU school.
He gets it away off balance, a remarkable pass, and it's complete at the 44-yard line. An unbelievable completion to Jerry Gordon, number 27. And now Grambling answers back. They're marching. They've moved about 40 yards already. They started the drive back inside the 25.
Southern had the blitz, and here comes Ray Griffin again. Ezell throws a great pass. It was one-on-one coverage. And Jerry Gordon, with his great speed, it's very hard to cover one-on-one, and he just...
I met Bobby Hebert over at the Michigan camp because he was the man. That was my first opportunity, quarterbacking and punting. And I got released. And boy, that was a hurting thing, because when you try to give it all you got and you've never been in a situation like that before, it kind of took a little bit of momentum from me. And then I went back to Grambling. And I was a grad assistant helping Coach Robertson coach. I was coaching quarterbacks. And my wife, Sherry, she was still going to school at that time. And the following year, I tried out with the San Antonio Gunslingers. And Rick Newhouser was there. He was the franchise quarterback at that time as well. And I got released there too. Came home, talked to my parents. Sherry and I was communicating, and she was in Dallas at the time working for J.C. Penney's in the accounting department. I just said, well, it's time to settle down. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm happy. I was doing the offshore thing first, with in the snubbing, Boots and Coots, HWC, and Halliburton. And on my days off, I used to be around it. The parish, recreation, and Coach Sterling Washington was working in office at that time. And he said, hey man, won't you do me a favor, And I know you still like being around this stuff. He said, won't you come and just help me out sometime over there with the parish, And he got me hired on. And I started working with TPR, with the recreation department.
Well, when they say the Ezell name and they say, oh, so are you from here? I said, no, I'm, that's my married name. Say, oh, Skippy? And I said, yeah. They're like, oh, I went to school with him, South Terry, he's like the best. So I couldn't relate. And I was like, oh, he wasn't that good. But that's what people would say, oh yeah, he was a great athlete. We have 3 beautiful children. Otis is Jeremy. He worked at Vanderbilt for the last, 10 years. And just in January, he got a job as a chemist with a company in Donaldsonville. And then my middle son, Jordan, he graduated from LSU. He was an LSU cheerleader for several years and coached. He just quit coaching last year with the LSU cheerleaders. And he's still in Baton Rouge, really never came back. He is an accounting and mathematics major. So he's doing accounting work. And then my youngest is Jasmine. She's at Xavier. and this is her 5th year. So at Ezell, completing her 5th year. So next year she'll go, she's in the pharmacy program. So she'll have her residency 1 year of, as they call it, rotations. And I have 3 beautiful grandchildren. Everything's Grammy every day. And a lot of his friends, they keep in touch. They talk all the time like it would be women on the phone. But he keeps in touch with all his receivers. Very close-knit. You would think it's like a fraternity.
We'll be right back with more. Don't go away.
Since 1954, Terrebonne General has been a beacon of health and hope in our community. As we mark 7 decades of dedication to your well-being, Terrebonne General Health System remains committed to advancing healthcare, improving lives, and expanding our services to meet your evolving needs. In celebrating our past, we look forward to a future filled with promise and progress. Your health is our legacy. To discover more, visit tghealthsystem.com.
Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Welcome back to this sports special. I'm Martin Falls. Let's go back to the induction ceremony where Skippy Ezell was inducted into the Bayou Region Hall of Fame.
Our third inductee this evening, Mr. Skippy Ezell.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to give honor to God for allowing me to be here today. My wife, Sherry, my sons, Jeremy, Jordan, and my daughter, Jasmine. My family and friends, my Grambling family, and the G-men. Okay. You know, it's who have traveled near and far for this occasion. I thank you guys for showing up and supporting me in this manner. I would like to also thank the Hall of Fame Committee, especially Stan Gravois, who worked hard and did a very good job of researching all the information that he needed to put together to show everybody qualifications and procedures of what has been shown today on video. Great job, Stan. Thank you. I would like to also give recognition to my first coach, TPR, used to be TPR, but at that time it was Hawk football with the East Houma Tigers, Dana Petrie. I have to give you a great honor for opening up the doors for me, for being the first black quarterback of Terrebonne Parish during those times. And I also like to thank Oaklawn coaches as well, Coach Lawrence, Coach Piku, for giving me the opportunity to sing. Next, I would like to thank coaches at South Terrebonne, Coach Buddy Marcello, for preparing me to play at the collegiate level. Finally, I'd like to thank Coach Eddie Robinson, who I thought was the best coach in the United States, for allowing me to play quarterback and punter during my 4 years at Grambling State University. I'm very honored to receive the recognition of being inducted into the Bayou Hall of Fame Region Hall of Fame. I would like to tell my wife, Sherry, happy anniversary. Happy 38th anniversary. You know, when you come up and you start speaking among people like this, you know, you feel the love, you know, your heart pounding, but you want to say the right things, but sometimes you say some things that's offbeat. But, you know, thank y'all very much for having me in my life. I like to also, again, I like to thank my friends that came from, you know, from near and far, Alabama, Baton Rouge, to witness this event. All my receivers that I threw the ball to throughout my career, they're here today. I also like to thank Mike Williams. He and I played quarterback at Grambling. We had some good times together. Thank you, Mike, for being my friend. And thank everybody for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you. God bless.
I played for San Antonio with Rick Neuheisel for 2 years. He couldn't hold a count of Skippy.
When we come back, I sit down one-on-one with Skippy and talk about the night.
Since 1954, Terrebonne General has been a beacon of health and hope in our community. As we mark 7 decades of dedication to your well-being, Terrebonne General Health System remains committed to advancing healthcare, improving lives, and expanding our services to meet your evolving needs. In celebrating our past, we look forward to a future filled with promise and progress. Your health is our legacy. To discover more, visit tghealthsystem.com.
Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
What a night. My next guest, gotta say, I love this guy. I've been knowing him for such a long time. It's the first time I can honestly say that I've caught him and he can't move because he was so fast and so good in everything he did. We normally weren't this close to him. He was that good an athlete, but I just recall those punt, pass, and kick days, and I thank the Lord every single year that I was 1 year younger than Skippy Ezell, because Brian Mollers on them had to put up with you in the punt, pass, and kick.
Yes.
And they were not finishing first. Skippy was that. You know what I remember about that, Skippy, is that when you threw that football over the tape, they'd have to pull the stakes up, move the whole tape, and I just remember the stand, and I got to watch because we'd finished our section, and I remember the fans just going, whoa.
Yes.
And I remember your dad hollering, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And it was classic, but what's the night mean to you?
For an event like this, man, I mean, you know, when I first heard about it, you know, it brought tears to my eyes, man, you know, because knowing that the parish still believe in me and still have my name and fame, you know, and I tell you what, words can't describe it, man. Mm-hmm. Really, it can't, you know.
You told me one time I ran into Skippy occasionally at different places, and you told me, thanks for keeping my name alive. But let me tell you, your name's easy to keep alive because when you go through storied athletes, and I mean, when I think of Frank Lewis and when I think of some of the athletes that came out of Terrebonne Parish, you know, you're right up there with them. And I know God gave you a natural ability, but not everybody with natural ability makes it work. You made it work.
Well, you know, I think because of all the the practice that I had, coming up in life, being a youngster, we had a lot of kids around my area, so we had a chance to practice a lot, and God, it's all praises and glory to God, man, because, he gave me a talent, man, that I mean, it's just unbelievable, man, because I can play all sports.
Yeah.
Not just one sport.
Not only could you play them, and you excelled in all sports.
And positions,
Yeah.
I just understood it, I just had my mindset was right, you know what I'm saying? Like Coach Robertson said, man, you born too soon.
You're right. And I've always said it. It was Doug Williams sort of broke that barrier with the racial quarterbacking and all that. I never understood that. But you're right. If you would have been born 5 years later, you would have been all over the place.
See?
You'd have been Michael Vick.
Yeah, I was doing that in the 70s.
Yeah,
though.
Michael Vick. But Buddy Marcella brought you up in the 9th grade.
He brought me up from Oaklawn in the 9th grade, and I still had a year to go at Oaklawn. And I went over there, man, and I tell you what, he had to do another, he had to go get permission to bring me over there.
Yeah.
And he even had a bus ride for me, man. I mean, I was the only one on the bus, man. I said, like, whoa.
Just don't tell me they paid you $75 a week for your laundry or nothing. No, it was all. But the area, I mean, look at the inductees tonight.
Yes.
Philip Livas, Brandon Brown.
Yes.
Yourself. All from the same area.
Same area.
And I always say,
that east side, man.
It wasn't the water y'all were drinking.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, it was competitive on that east side, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because for me, it was my way out. So I had to excel like I did,
Yeah.
And I had to keep clean because you know my father, man. You met him, you know him. I know yours. Yeah. Your father, And they didn't Papa don't take no mess, bro.
But I remember my dad saying after the pump, pass, and kick, and I was doing well, and my dad said, look, congratulations. You won, you worked hard. But that Ezell guy, he said, he's unbelievable. But he talked about how he talked with your dad quite a bit.
Yes, he did.
And your dad, although he was intense and pulling for you, you could tell, man, his soul was in it for you.
Yeah. He believed in me,
Yeah.
And we spoke a lot and we talked a lot, as well as my mom. And, they kept me focused on what I need to do in life.
Yeah.
Be obedient, be a respectful person. And, things going to happen, man. Just don't be negative,
Right.
I never saw color.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't me. Because everybody wear their pants the same way we do. I do. You know what I mean? So I just had to go out there and just find myself and just dig in, man, and just go get for what, go get it.
And you played for the legendary Eddie Robinson?
Yes.
What a teacher.
I tell you what, man, he the one told me about that. And I never understood what he was saying, man. When he saw me play, he said some things that people can do and some things that he never seen before. And he the first one told me that. He said, man, some people just born too soon. I never figured it out, till,
Right.
And then after a while, it started dawning on me. I said, well, God, dog,
Yeah. We were always looking for you and pulling for you. And I just knew you were going to be a pro quarterback in the NFL. And I got to tell you, we were all quite perplexed and quite upset that you really never got that shot. But look, we all know who you are.
Yes.
And we all know the athlete you were. And tonight, a lot of people are going to know that athlete. Congratulations, Skippy. Well deserved. And we love you. You've been a great example.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Skippy. Great honor. And I know you've had a great career. So glad that we can all remember the great things you did on the sports fields and in the gyms and everywhere. And also, great person. We'll be right back.